Here are the Amish's 42 clever household hacks you'll wish you knew sooner. Hold weekly whole house scrub day. Every Amish household follows a rhythm, and one of the most important traditions is the weekly scrub day. Usually done on Mondays, the entire home is cleaned from top to bottom by hand using buckets, rags, brushes, and homemade soap. Floors are mopped, walls wiped, and every item is returned to its place. Children help by washing doorknobs and woodwork. Bedding is aired on clotheslines while mattresses are turned. The home is left fresh, orderly, and spiritually renewed. For best results, use rainwater softened with lye soap. It leaves wood smooth and reduces the need for repeated rinsing. Polish floors with equal vinegar and linseed oil. Did you know that wooden floors in Amish homes are kept shining with a simple blend of linseed oil and vinegar? This natural polish brings out the grain, protects the wood, and leaves a soft glow. The two ingredients are mixed in equal parts and applied with a soft cloth or rag mop. The scent is earthy and pleasant, and the polish soaks into worn spots. No harsh chemicals or commercial waxes are needed. Afterward, floors are buffed by hand using old wool rags. Always test a small corner first and store leftover polish in a corked glass bottle away from sunlight. Make streak-free glass mixed with water, cornstarch, and alcohol. Amish homemakers mix their own glass cleaner using a traditional recipe that's both effective and simple. The base includes water, cornstarch, and grain alcohol or homemade spirits, ingredients available in most pantries. Shaken together and applied with a soft cloth, it lifts grease and leaves no streaks. Cornstarch acts as a gentle scrub without scratching, while alcohol cuts through oil. This mix is used on windows, lantern chimneys, and mirrors. Always strain through cloth before use to avoid grit. For best shine, polish with old newspaper or linen scrap until the surface squeaks under your hand. Deodorize carpets with dry, sifted cornstarch. Scent and cleanliness go hand in hand in an Amish home, especially with handmade rugs or braided floor mats. To freshen them, homemakers sprinkle fine cornstarch over the surface and let it sit for several hours. The powder absorbs odors from shoes, smoke, and cooking. Once it is rested, the cornstarch is brushed or swept off with a corn husk broom and shaken outdoors. This method leaves rugs soft and pleasant smelling without needing washing. Store cornstarch in cloth sacks to prevent clumping. For added scent, mix in dried herbs like lavender or mint before sprinkling. Beat rugs outside using corn husk broom. Instead of using vacuum cleaners, Amish families clean rugs the old-fashioned way by taking them outside and beating the dust out. Hung over a fence rail or wash line, rugs are struck firmly with corn husk brooms or wooden rug beaters. The motion fluffs fibers, dislodges grit, and refreshes woven patterns. It's a weekly ritual, often done before Sabbath. After beating, rugs are laid over clean grass or wood rails to air out. Flip midway through for even exposure. For fragile or hand-stitched rugs, wrap the broom in cloth to soften the strike and protect delicate fibers. Turn worn shirts into cleaning rags. When a shirt becomes too threadbare for mending, Amish homemakers give it a second life as a cleaning rag. Cotton, flannel, or linen shirts are cut into squares and stacked in baskets near the stove or pantry. These rags are used for everything, from drying dishes to wiping lamp chimneys or polishing shoes. Buttons are saved in jars, and collars or cuffs become patch material. Nothing is wasted. For best results, sort rags by fabric type, soft ones for glass and sturdier ones for floors or boots. Boil occasionally with lye soap to disinfect and remove stains naturally. Dry mop floors using vinegar-dampened rag. Amish floors are kept clean and smooth with a simple vinegar-dampened rag wrapped around a mop stick. Instead of wet mopping, which can swell wood, a wrung-out rag captures dust and leaves a soft sheen behind. Vinegar cuts through grease without leaving residue. The rag is washed, boiled, and reused until threadbare. Women usually dry mop floors daily before breakfast. For stubborn spots, a dash of wood ash rubbed in with a cloth can help. Always mop with the grain of the wood and let floors air dry with windows open for fresh scent and fast evaporation. Store straw brooms bristles up on hook. To keep brooms lasting longer, Amish families store straw brooms bristles up on hooks near the entryway or pantry. This prevents the straw from bending or flattening under its own weight. Hanging also keeps the broom clean and ready for use. The handle rests in a simple wall peg, sometimes carved or notched to match its shape. Children are taught early to sweep gently and store tools properly. For added care, trim worn bristles with shears and dip the broom in hot water with vinegar monthly. Let it dry outside in the shade to prevent warping or mildew. Make your own simple laundry powder. Have you tried making your own laundry powder? Try this simple recipe. This homemade laundry powder made from washing soda, baking soda, and shaved Fells Naphtha soap is a staple in many Amish households. The ingredients are mixed by hand and stored in glass jars or tin pails. Just a small scoop cleans a full tub of clothes. Fells Naphtha is grated with a hand-cranked shredder, while the powders are stirred in with a wooden spoon. It's safe for septic systems and leaves linens crisp and fresh. For stubborn stains, rub dry mix into damp fabric before washing. Keep powders dry and tightly sealed, and label containers with chalk or scrap paper tags. Use hand crank or propane wringer washer. Without electricity, laundry in Amish homes is done using hand-cranked or propane-powered wringer washers. Water is heated on the stove and poured into a galvanized tub, where clothes are scrubbed using paddles or turned in an agitating drum. The wringer presses out water and moves garments into a rinse tub. These setups are often wheeled outdoors in warm weather. Families rotate duties. One scrubs, one wrings, another rinses. Wash days happen once or twice weekly. Always wash whites first and reuse water for darks or rugs. To preserve your wringer, keep it covered between uses and grease the crank monthly. Pulley clothesline mounted at shoulder height. Drying clothes outdoors is made easier with a pulley clothesline mounted at shoulder height along barns or between trees. This system lets one person hang laundry from a single spot while pulling the line along. Wooden clothespins are attached in advance, and wet clothes are clipped in quick succession. When full, the line is tightened with a block or wedge. Clothes dry evenly in the sun, safe from muddy paths or livestock. When it rains, items are brought in quickly without walking the whole yard. Keep clothespins in a cloth apron for speed and dry them in a basket after use. Folding drying rack beside stove indoors. In cold seasons, Amish families rely on folding drying racks to air dry clothing indoors. These wooden racks are unfolded beside the kitchen stove or wood heater where warmth rises naturally. Each arm holds socks, towels, or aprons, drying without electricity. When not in use, the rack folds flat and is stored behind doors or under beds. It's particularly useful during long winters or wet spells. Linen and wool dry best when spaced apart to avoid musty smells. Add vinegar to rinse as fabric softener. Amish homemakers skip commercial softeners, choosing white vinegar instead. Added to the final rinse, it removes soap film, softens cloth, and keeps fabrics from yellowing in hard water. It also freshens linens without perfumes or buildup. Towels stay absorbent, unlike when treated with store-bought softeners. Vinegar also keeps washing tubs clean and reduces limescale. Stored in corked glass jugs, it's easy to pour and lasts months. Rinse ladles and tubs after use. For extra brightness, mix a spoonful of lemon juice into the vinegar before adding it to the final rinse. Sew hanging loops in towel corners. Amish homemakers sew small fabric loops into towels for clean, easy hanging. The loops are made from leftover cotton ties or apron scraps. Towels hang neatly on pegs, drying faster and staying off the floor. All loops are stitched in the same corner for uniform folding. Strong thread and double knots keep loops from tearing loose. This avoids clutter and keeps kitchens tidy. Damp towels should be hung promptly after use. When the loops wear out, they're replaced with sturdier fabric. Always sew by hand using thick needles and wax thread for best hold. Keep mending basket near rocking chair. Many Amish women keep a mending basket beside the rocking chair. It holds thread, patches, thimbles, and worn garments ready for repair. Mending happens during quiet moments or long evenings, reducing waste and keeping clothes in circulation. Socks, aprons, and work pants get priority. Beeswax thread prevents tangling, and scraps are repurposed for linings or patches. Children are taught to bring torn items straight to the basket. Keep needles tucked safely in a cloth pouch. Cover the basket to keep out dust. Mend by daylight, when thread color and stitch placement are easiest to see. Batch cook soup or beans all day. Amish families often batch cook beans or soup over the wood stove. A large kettle is filled with dried beans, vegetables, and broth and simmered slowly through the day. This saves fuel, softens ingredients evenly, and fills the home with comforting aroma. The soup is stirred often, and seasoning is added later. Any extra is stored in crocks and eaten for supper or the next day. Add water if the broth runs low. Use the nearby heat to dry towels or rise dough. Keep a ladle close and check kettle bottoms for scorching near the fire. Season iron pans immediately after cooking. After cooking, Amish cooks wipe iron pans clean and season them at once. Soap isn't used, just hot water and a rag. A thin coat of lard or tallow is rubbed into the warm pan. This protects the iron and keeps food from sticking. Salt removes stubborn residue without harming the surface. The pan is dried and hung from a hook or nail. If used daily, it stays black and glossy. Always store iron pans in a dry place. Avoid stacking them unless you use cloth layers between pans to preserve the finish. Store dry goods in cloth-lidded jars. Dry staples like oats and flour are stored in glass jars covered with cloth lids. Cheesecloth or muslin is tied over the top using string or twine. This keeps dust and bugs out while allowing air circulation. The jars sit on open pantry shelves for easy access. Each is labeled with chalk or tied paper tags. Amish families rotate older goods to the front. Bay leaves can be dropped inside to deter pests. Before refilling, jars are rinsed and dried thoroughly. Avoid placing jars near the stove, where warmth may cause spoilage. Porch Pie Safe cools fresh baked goods. Instead of using a fridge, Amish families cool baked goods in a screened porch pie safe. This wooden cupboard has mesh sides for airflow and protects pies, cakes, and bread from flies or animals. Items are placed on racks after baking to let steam escape. The breeze cools them evenly, and the scent drifts through the house. Some homes build a pie safe right into the porch wall. Always place pies on clean cloth or parchment. Rotate shelves often and keep the mesh tight and clean to deter insects and dust buildup. Water plants with cooled cooking water. In Amish homes, nothing goes to waste, not even water from boiled food. After boiling potatoes, eggs, or vegetables, the cooled cooking water is poured onto plants. Rich in nutrients like potassium and trace minerals, this reuse nourishes flowers and crops. The water must be free of salt or seasoning to avoid harming roots. Rainwater and dish rinse water are also collected in basins for this purpose. To store extra, keep it in a lidded pail near the porch. Always test the water with your hand first. Never pour if it's still warm. Potted marigolds repel insects at doorway. Marigolds in pots are placed at doorways to help keep bugs from entering the home. The strong scent repels many flying and crawling insects, especially mosquitoes and aphids. Amish homemakers often plant them in old buckets or wooden boxes filled with rich soil. These bright flowers also cheer up the entryway and are easy to care for. Deadhead blooms regularly to keep plants full. Replace tired plants mid-season with fresh ones from the garden. For best results, place pots on either side of the doorway and move them to full sun each morning. Bury 5-gallon bucket root cellar for vegetables. Without full root cellars, Amish families use buried 5-gallon buckets to store vegetables. Carrots, beets, and parsnips are packed in straw or sawdust, layered inside the sealed bucket. A tight lid keeps out moisture and animals. The bucket is buried in well-drained soil, with just the handle exposed for retrieval. Mark the location with a wooden stake or stone. These mini cellars maintain steady temperatures and extend storage life. Always use clean, food-safe buckets. Pack root vegetables in damp sawdust storage. Root crops like carrots, turnips, and beets are packed in damp sawdust to store them through winter. The sawdust holds moisture without letting the vegetables dry out or rot. Amish families layer the vegetables in wooden boxes or old crates, alternating with moist sawdust. Boxes are kept in cool cellars or barns, away from light and heat. Each layer is gently packed, not pressed. Always remove any damaged vegetables before storing. For better results, dampen sawdust slightly every few weeks and turn boxes occasionally to check for spoilage or dryness. Stand cabbages upright in soil-filled bucket. Whole cabbage heads are stored upright in buckets filled with moist soil or sand. This method mimics how the cabbage grew, helping it stay firm and fresh for months. Amish homes line up these buckets in cool corners of cellars or pantries. Heads are not trimmed. Outer leaves remain to protect the inner layers. Use clay or wood buckets with drainage to prevent rot. Lightly water the soil if it dries out. Harvest cabbage gently to keep roots attached. Always store heads loosely spaced so air can move between them for freshness. Ferment sauerkraut and crock with salt cabbage. Sauerkraut is made by layering shredded cabbage with salt in a stoneware crock. The mixture is pressed down firmly, and a wooden lid or plate is weighted on top. Natural juices cover the cabbage as it ferments. Amish homes keep crocks in cool basements or pantries for several weeks. The result is tangy, preserved cabbage rich in probiotics. Skim any surface foam and rinse lid weekly. Use fresh cabbage only. Older leaves mold faster and reduce the final flavor and texture. Hang braided garlic bunches in closet. Garlic is stored by braiding stalks into long ropes and hanging them in a dry, dark place. Amish homes often use broom closets or pantry corners. The braids allow air to circulate while keeping bulbs off damp surfaces. Garlic lasts through winter and stays fresh for cooking and medicinal use. Any loose skins are swept up weekly. To braid well, harvest with full stalks and let them dry slightly first. Replace soft bulbs with fresh ones before they spoil and affect the whole bunch. Bury unplugged freezer for walk-in root cellar. Old freezers are repurposed as walk-in root cellars by burying them underground. With the door removed or propped open, the insulated box keeps produce cool without freezing. It's lined with straw or wood crates and covered with a hatch or tarp. Amish families use them for apples, potatoes, and squash. Located near the barn or house, they're accessible in winter. Drainage holes are drilled in the bottom. Always prop the lid to prevent sealing shut and mark the spot with a visible post or wooden stake. Install hand pump at kitchen sink. In Amish kitchens, a cast iron hand pump at the sink brings up water from an indoor cistern or shallow well. Each pump stroke draws clean, cool water into a basin for drinking, washing, or cooking. These pumps require no electricity and last for decades when oiled regularly. Spills are caught in a basin and poured outside. The spout is wiped clean daily. Keep a small pitcher nearby for catching priming water. Before freezing weather, cover the spout or bring water in overnight to avoid broken seals. Keep 2 oil lamps per room. Trim weekly. Amish households typically keep 2 oil lamps in each room, one for daily use and one as backup. The lamps burn kerosene or lamp oil and provide reliable, steady light. Wicks are trimmed weekly for a clean flame and to avoid sooting. Chimneys are wiped with vinegar to stay clear. Extra wicks and fuel are stored in labeled tins. Always place lamps away from curtains or paper. Light before dusk and extinguish just before bed. Keep a small mirror behind each lamp to double the glow in darker corners. Rice-filled door snake blocks chilly drafts. To block cold drafts from creeping under doors, Amish families use simple door snakes, fabric tubes filled with rice. These are sewn from old shirts or linen scraps and placed snugly along the door's base. The weight keeps them in place while the rice traps heat indoors. In summer, they're stored with cedar chips to deter pests. Make a few for each room and rotate them weekly for even wear. For extra warmth, place 2 together end to end for wide doors or drafty porch entries. Warm bed with flannel-wrapped stove-heated stone. On cold nights, Amish families heat smooth stones on the wood stove, then wrap them in flannel to place at the foot of the bed. The warmth slowly radiates, keeping feet toasty through the night. Children especially benefit from this cozy trick. Stones are placed in iron pans near the stove's edge, never directly on the fire. Use thick flannel to prevent burns and remove before falling asleep. Store the stones in a basket nearby and reheat each evening for consistent comfort. Cool room, damp sheet opposite windows open. In warm weather, Amish homes cool rooms by hanging a damp sheet across from an open window. As air passes through, it carries evaporative moisture, lowering the temperature slightly. This simple method works best in cross-ventilated rooms and shaded areas. The sheet should be cotton and slightly wrung out to avoid dripping. Re-wet as needed through the day. Always remove before dusk to reduce dampness. Store wicks and matches together in tin. To save time during power-free evenings, Amish families keep wicks and wooden matches in small tins. This ensures both are dry, safe, and always on hand. Tins are stored near lamps or hung by the stove. Labels are often written with pencil on paper taped inside. Matches are struck on the box edge, and extra wicks are coiled or folded neatly. Replace bent matches or frayed wicks often. Use a separate tin for each room, and check weekly to keep contents fresh and organized. Pine tar salve draws splinters and boils. Amish households rely on homemade pine tar salve for drawing out splinters, boils, and insect stingers. Made from pine resin, beeswax, and oil, the salve is thick, sticky, and effective. It's applied to clean skin, then covered with a cloth overnight. By morning, debris is often near the surface. The pine helps reduce swelling and infection. Store the salve in glass jars or small tins. For best results, clean the wound first and avoid using on broken or bleeding skin. Reapply until soreness and swelling go down completely. Honey lavender salve soothes minor skin irritations. Combining raw honey with dried lavender and beeswax creates a gentle salve used to soothe minor burns, scrapes, or dry skin. The honey draws moisture and promotes healing, while lavender reduces itching and calms redness. Amish homemakers keep jars in cool cellars or linen cupboards. It's dabbed on cuts after washing or rubbed into elbows and heels. Avoid using near eyes or open wounds. For smoother texture, warm slightly before use. Always use clean fingers or wooden spatulas to apply to avoid contamination in the jar. Rub arnica balm on aching joints. Arnica balm, made from arnica flowers and lard or oil, is a traditional Amish remedy for joint pain and bruises. The balm is rubbed gently onto sore knees, elbows, or back muscles after long days of work. It helps ease stiffness and reduce swelling naturally. A little goes a long way, and the balm should never be applied to broken skin. Keep it in a dark jar and re-warm gently if it becomes too stiff in cold weather. Pegboards mounted at shoulder height. Amish homes use wooden pegboards mounted at shoulder height to keep tools, bonnets, jackets, or lanterns organized. Each peg is smoothed and spaced for easy access. They're usually installed along kitchen walls or near entries. Pegs are carved from the same wood as the board. To prevent sagging, mount boards into wall studs and oil them monthly with linseed. Handled stair basket reduces multiple trips. A handled stair basket saves time and effort by collecting items that need to go upstairs. Amish families use woven baskets or wooden trays with curved grips. They're left near stair bottoms and emptied during regular trips. Children are taught to use them early. Keep baskets shallow and sturdy and line them with cloth to protect delicate items like socks or tools. Wall drying rack doubles as hallway handrail. Fold-out wall drying racks near stoves or in hallways double as handrails when closed. Amish homes install them at waist height using dowels and simple hinges. Clothes or towels are draped for drying during winter. When folded flat, the rack becomes a sturdy handhold. Always sand edges smooth. For safety, secure latches tightly and keep hinges greased with wax or oil. Folding seat cane kept near doorway. A folding seat cane near the doorway offers quick rest after farm work or long errands. Amish elders and expectant mothers use them during social visits. The cane opens to reveal a fabric or leather seat and folds flat again when not in use. Store it on a hook near the door. Check hinges regularly and patch worn fabric with leather scraps. Plant 3 sisters, mound corn beans squash. Corn, beans, and squash are grown together in mounds, a method called the 3 sisters. Amish gardens use this layout for strong yields. Corn grows tall, beans climb, and squash shades the ground. It saves space and improves soil health. Each mound holds a few seeds per crop. Water deeply once a week and mulch with straw to conserve moisture. Fertilize tomatoes with eggshells and potato water. Crushed eggshells and leftover potato cooking water are used to fertilize tomato plants naturally. The shells add calcium, while the starchy water provides nutrients. Amish families collect both in small buckets and pour them at the base of each plant. Never pour hot water. Let it cool first. For best results, mix in a handful of aged manure before applying.